The Adventures of Steel Armstrong by Sean P. Marr. Ahoy matey, my name is Frank Fiegel, and I will tell you about a friend of mine who I sailed with on many a sea voyage to strange lands. A friend who possessed titanic strength, physical indestructibility, and can run as fast as the wind. His name was Steel Armstrong. Steel Armstrong was a man of average build, height, and weight, with inordinate strength and agility. He was a jack of all trades both on land and at sea. He was a fighter and often participated in fisticuffs for money. In his leisure time he would enjoy the company of women, have a few drinks, and smoke his corn-cob pipe. Steel Armstrong had a reputation as a man with nerves of steel. He wasn't afraid of doing daring things both on land and sea. Some thought him brave and others thought he had a deep sad secret inside him which caused him to take chances. Almost if though he had a private death wish. Steel Armstrong's moods were like everyone else's. Except he would at times become withdrawn into some sad thought which he never shared with anyone. At work, he was the best with a steady hand and a sharp eye. When it came to doing something that needed to be done, he didn't waste time or put up with nonsense. Both friends and enemies alike found he was a truthful, honest, and quiet man. However, there were rumors about him that in the past he was a troublemaker, rip-roaring fighter, with a heart as cold as stone. But rumors can be at times truthful or falsehood. Steel Armstrong was a mariner on the ill-fated cargo ship named the Onus. Steel Armstrong was the lone survivor of the Onus when a monstrous kraken, a giant squid, dragged the ship and its crew under the sea on a stormy cold night. Steel Armstrong spent 3 days at sea in one of the Onus rowboats until washed up on an desolate island. The island was 50 miles all around with one large mountain. The island had some plants, trees, and land animal life. Steel Armstrong being marooned on the island, he passed the time finding food and water, and found shelter in a deep cave at the base of the large rocky mountain. On the 8th day, Steel Armstrong decided to explore deeper into the cave. With a lighted makeshift torch in hand, he found a bright green bejeweled wine bottle with a golden cork. The bottle was buried halfway in the dirt floor. Armstrong picked up the bottle and dusted it off. He could see through the bright green glass that it still had wine. He opened the bottle and out poured a great multicolored bellowing smoke. The smoke began to form into a giant man. Armstrong stepped back. He realized in front of him was a yin, a genie by another name. The yin was dressed in the richest and finest robes that were trimmed along the edges with golden and silver lining. The yin was fat. His face and head was clean-shaven, except for a ponytail on the top of his head, which had golden and silver string interwoven into his hair. The yin's skin was as black as coal and his eyes shone like bright green torches. His expression was of sluggard amusement when he spotted Armstrong against the cave's wall looking up at him in amazement. The yin, when finished materializing, he was so huge that Armstrong was a mere 12 inches tall. The yin was lying on his side on what looked like to Armstrong hundreds and hundreds of brightly colored pillows. The brightly colored pillows were of all different shapes and sizes. Next to the yin on the ground was a magnificent carpet with all types of delicious foods on silver and golden plates. There were large and small bottles of wine with golden and silver cups to drink the wine from. The food made Armstrong hungry from the delicious, tempting aroma. The yin looked down at Armstrong, who was looking at all the food and wine in wonderment. The yin studied Armstrong while smoking his hookah, which almost looked like the brightly green bejeweled wine bottle Armstrong found. The yin then spoke. "I see you are a smoker like me. Come now, eat and drink, then light up your corn cob pipe, and have a good smoke with me." Armstrong stared at all the food on the carpet. There were meats of all kinds, fruits, vegetables, breads, and pastries. Armstrong breathed in the mouth-watering aroma before piling a silver plate with meats and vegetables to his liking. As he ate, the yin continued smoking his hookah and watched Armstrong with bemused interest. Once Armstrong had his fill and sated his thirst with the wine, he sat down on a rock, filled his corn cob pipe with tobacco, and lit it. As he smoked his corn cob pipe, he then looked up at the yin and asked his name. "Thank you for a fine meal and drink. My name is Steele Armstrong, a mariner on the ill-fated cargo ship named the Onus. I am the lone survivor of the Onus when a monstrous kraken dragged the ship and its crew under the sea. But may I ask you your name?" The yin blew a smoke ring toward the ceiling of the cave and gave a little chuckle, as though he thought of a private joke. "My name is Voluptus." The yin said his name with an air of importance, as though all should know it far and wide. "I am the great and powerful yin of delights and pleasures," continued the yin as he took another puff on his hookah. "I am the master of debaucheries." The yin eyes glowed brighter with pride. "Debaucheries?" questioned Armstrong, surprised at the yin's title. "Yes, debaucheries with style and grace," replied the yin with a wide smile. "I indulge and share with anyone I choose. The delights and pleasures range from the simple to the extreme." The yin then snapped his fingers together and 7 young beautiful women appeared in scantily clad, almost see-through colored veils, wrapped around parts of their bodies, leaving little to the imagination. The beautiful women stared at Armstrong with sweet smiles. Armstrong stayed back with temptation in his heart. The 7 young women then sat down on the pillows near the inn, but never taking their eyes off of Armstrong. Armstrong then had a thought and asked the yin, "How did you get into the bottle?" He remembered that most yins were punished by being imprisoned in some type of object like a bottle, a lamp, or sometimes a ring. The yin looked at Armstrong with one raised eyebrow and a slight smirk on his lips. "The Lord and King of the Yins imprisoned me. The good and great King Astutin imprisoned me in the wine bottle for 5,000 years," answered Voluptus as he took a drag on his hookah. He felt I was a bad influence on both yins and humans. But I have never coerced anyone, anyone against their will. Voluptus looked down on Armstrong with an expression that he felt he was wrongly imprisoned. "But now you are free," replied Armstrong as he looked back at the beautiful young women that kept their eyes on him. He wondered if they were real human women or yins. "Yes, now I am free thanks to you," said Voluptus softly. "Give me your corn, cob pipe and leather tobacco pouch," requested the yin as he stretched out his hand to Armstrong. "My corn, cob pipe and tobacco pouch. What are you going to do?" asked Armstrong as he placed his corn, cob pipe and tobacco pouch on the palm of the yin. "Something remarkable," replied Voluptus as he took another drag on his hookah and blew the smoke onto the corn, cob pipe and tobacco pouch in his hand. Then, he handed the corn, cob pipe and tobacco pouch back to Armstrong, who took them and stared at his corn, cob pipe and tobacco pouch. They remained the same. Armstrong looked up at the yin with a childlike questioning expression. The yin laughed out loud heartily and with mirth at the curious expression on Armstrong's face. "Let me explain and heed my words," Voluptus said as a teacher to a student. "I love to smoke and I see you do too," Voluptus continued. "Your corn, cob pipe can never be broken or lost to you. And the same as for your tobacco pouch. Your tobacco pouch will never run low of your favorite tobacco. But this isn't all." "Thank you," replied Armstrong as he listened intently to the yin. "Your corn, cob pipe, when you smoke will give you titanic strength. Each time you smoke your corn, cob pipe, you will have the strength and become literally indestructible." The yin then paused to take a puff on his hookah and give Armstrong a chance to think over what he was told about the titanic strength, corn, cob pipe, and tobacco pouch. "Do I have to smoke my corn, cob pipe at all times to have this titanic strength?" queried Armstrong as he filled his corn, cob pipe with tobacco from his tobacco leather pouch. He wanted to try his gift of titanic strength. "No, just smoke your corn, cob pipe as you always have," replied Voluptus as he then pointed to a man-sized boulder. "Try your titanic strength on that." "I will," said Armstrong as he lit his corn, cob pipe and walked over to the large heavy boulder. "One more thing, my friend," added Voluptas. "To light your corn cob pipe, all you have to say is light, and your corn cob pipe will light your tobacco. You can use a match if you wish instead of saying light. Understand? Only you will gain this mighty titanic strength. For anyone else, your corn cob pipe and tobacco pouch will be nothing more than that, just an ordinary corn cob pipe and tobacco pouch." Armstrong walked over to the large boulder and hugged it. Then he lifted the rock with the same ease as lifting a 10-pound sack of flour. As he continued to smoke his corn cob pipe, the boulder became as light as a pillow. He lifted the boulder high over his head and turned toward the inn and the 7 women with a childlike grin. The 7 beautiful women were pleasantly amazed and clapped their hands with smiles on their rosy lips at the display of Armstrong's titanic strength. They never took their eyes off of him. The yin then instructed Armstrong again. "Now strike the boulder with your fist as hard as you can." Armstrong wanted to say something about hitting the boulder with his fist, but thought it best to keep quiet. The yin, as though reading Armstrong's mind, again said in a serious tone of voice, "Strike the boulder with your fist." Placing the large boulder back on the ground, Armstrong then struck the boulder with all his might. To Armstrong's amazement, the boulder shattered as though it were made of glass. To his fist, the boulder was like punching an egg. The yin laughed rip-roaringly at the pleased expression of Steel Armstrong. The 7 beautiful women cheered and laughed their sweet laughter as their eyes never left Armstrong. The 7 women clapped their hands as Armstrong bowed to the yin, and the women as though had given a show. "My friend, this is my gift to you for freeing me," said Voluptas. "No other power can remove or lessen what I have deemed to give you. Use it well or however you feel fit to do so." "Will my titanic strength end once I stop smoking?" asked Armstrong as he smoked his corn cob pipe. "Each bowlful will give you the titanic strength. That titanic strength will last with you for a day," explained the yin. "2 pipes, 2 days, 3 pipes, 3 days, and so on. Now, my friend, I must be going," continued Voluptas as he waved his hand over the wine, food, and women. Everything disappeared in a blink of an eye. The last thing Armstrong saw were the women, who never took their eyes off of him. "What about me getting off this island?" Armstrong asked as he put away his corn cob pipe and tobacco pouch into his pant pockets. The yin smiled mischievously as he slowly started to fade away, but not before saying one word to Armstrong. And that one word was swim. Steel Armstrong said to himself, "Very funny, Voluptas," and quickly headed out to the sea. He dived into the water and began swimming. To his surprise, he swam with incredible ease and speed. He cut through the water faster than any creature of the sea. Armstrong swam for 5 hours without stopping. He arrived at the same shipping town that the owners had left. As he walked out of the sea onto the beach, he never felt tired. The people working on the shipping docks recognized him and ran to help him. He told them what happened to the owners and how he survived. Steele Armstrong soon got his own ship and named her the Vestigo. He never told anyone what the yin had done for him. In a world of land and sea monsters, dragons, giants, wizards, witches, mixed in with the good, the bad, and the indifferent, he had over time became a legend in his own right. Steele Armstrong the mariner rented his time and ship to treasure hunters, ancient ruins collectors, and archaeologists who explore the known and the unknown. Steele Armstrong, a man of indestructible titanic strength, and an incredible legend on land and sea. So there you have it, matey. I need to leave now. It is getting late, and I need to head home. Next time I will tell you more about my friend Steele Armstrong and his incredible adventures around the world. Thank you for listening to my tale. Bye for now.